Now playing. Get ready for the family reunion from hell. From the producers of the horror classic Evil Dead comes a brand new nightmare and the scariest installment yet. After her husband's mysterious passing, a widow seeks comfort with her in-laws in their secluded cabin in the woods. But as they one by one turn into something much more sinister, she discovers that every family has its demons. Evil Dead Burn. Now playing only in theaters. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent. Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have trusted Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. Just tell Progressive what you want to pay, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Visit Progressive.com to find a car insurance rate that works for you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast.
On the left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
Lady, come and find me, lady. He's a swollen little man with a... He's got an empty ring finger. Lady.
I just pictured like a finger with no bone, just like skin, just flopping hangs over.
We'll put a ring on the finger of the man in the corner named Henry.
Oh, the luckiest lady in all of Oklahoma.
Ladies, come squat on the face of dear old Henry.
All right, the song is no longer romantic, Henry. That's just a sexual demand. All right, welcome to the show, everyone. That's Marcus Parks. I'm Ben Kissel, Henry Zabrowski.
You mean to tell me that if... What's his name? Who was the old-timey crooner? Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby, sure.
Every one of his songs were innocent, but they were just about paying a young girl to squat in his face.
Oh, yeah. But that came out later.
That's all he wanted. That's all he wanted.
He didn't put that into the lyrics.
Use my face as a stool, little girl.
All right. Well, I guess now speaking of little girls... We're on to JonBenét Ramsey Part 2.
But little girl was different back in the day. Back in the 50s, you called every woman a little girl in order to make them feel small and then you more powerful.
Because they were actually really big and you had, no power really.
Show me them tiny little breasts, little girl.
All right, well that might... Okay, look, Marcus!
Yeah.
Where are we picking up?
Last week we went through the timeline of the murder. We went through the bungled actual day of investigation, the bungled crime scene, and we also went through the ransom note.
And if I didn't know any better, I'd say these police were being a bit of a clan of bumblebutts.
They were.
So let's continue with some of the evidence. JonBenét's body itself. The results of the autopsy revealed that she was killed by strangulation and a skull fracture, a garrote made from a length of tweed cord, and the broken handle of a paintbrush. The paintbrush, by the way, was Patsy Ramsey's paintbrush, which was in the basement. That had been used to strangle her, and her skull had suffered severe blunt force trauma.
Was the paintbrush broken on JonBenét, or did they just have a random broken paintbrush handle lying around?
I guess they had a random broken paintbrush handle.
I heard that Patsy Ramsey did a series of sort of by the numbers but technically skillful landscapes, and she tried to get into art school, but she couldn't get in, so she broke it in fury. Not unlike the story of a young Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
So there was the official cause of death was asphyxiation due to strangulation associated with craniocerebral trauma.
What they're saying is what seems to be the natural timeline of her death is that she was tased in her bed. She was moved to the basement. Mm-hmm. She was getting strangled. She woke up in the process of being strangled. She screamed, and then he bashed her head in.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I don't mean to be sexist. It could have been a lady.
Yeah, it could have been a family dog, for all we know.
So as far as the sexual abuse goes, there was no evidence of conventional rape, meaning there was no penis involved.
Okay. Well, this girl has been, like we discussed on the last episode, for all intents and purposes, sexually abused throughout her entire life, even if she didn't realize it was happening. She was going to realize it at 16 when she tastes her first needle of heroin.
Yeah, but it was no conventional run-of-the-mill rape.
Oh.
Right. Yeah, nothing inside the box rape.
It was not.
No. So the autopsy had phrases like chronic inflammation and epithelial erosion concern. Dude, do you know how much I read?
Epithelial.
Do you know how much I read about a little girl's vagina during the course of this research? It was awful.
Marcus, tell us exactly how much. Speak into the microphone clearly. We'll isolate the footage and it'll never work in this town again.
It was in the pursuit of the truth.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And how many times how many times I find myself in the pursuit of the truth, just knuckles deep in the little girl's vagina.
It was medical information.
Right.
It was autopsy reports. And by the way, the autopsy report had redacted information in it.
Yeah, because it was too fucking gross for people to handle.
Literally.
So Dr. Richard Krugman, a child abuse specialist, he noted that a vaginal abrasion is a sign of trauma, but not a sign of sexual abuse necessarily.
The Krugs is laying it down.
That's right.
Well, I mean, these sorts of inflammations, you got to remember, this little girl was wearing tights all the time. Right. And that is from the medical examiners. That is from some medical examiners.
Let's just do, okay, but like behind the scenes talk, guys. So when we're talking about the naked girl's body and the trauma about her vagina and stuff, less jokey. Let's get through it, and then we'll make jokes about other things.
I wasn't making any jokes.
Okay.
That's truth. That is actual truth. The sorts of costumes that she wore, the sorts of materials that were involved in those costumes, they could have actually caused the damage that they found on this little girl.
So this is a statement from Dr. Richard Gardner about the inflammation and abuse. There are doctors, even pediatricians, who claim that any inflammation of a little girl's vulva is a manifestation of sex abuse. Most, however, note that this is an extremely common finding and can be solved from sweat, from tight pants, certain kinds of soap, and the occasional, the mild rubbing, sometimes masturbatory activity of the normal girl.
And after that, he calls his wife and requests veal for dinner because he wants some more young meat.
Well, a panel of pediatric experts from around the country reached a major conclusion in the investigation. They reached the conclusion that she had suffered vaginal trauma prior to the day she was killed. Some people do say that the evidence points towards prior and prolonged sexual abuse.
And this points towards the parents in terms of because again, this is what we were looking for. We said before last week was that 92% of child crimes, like child murders that happen within the home, normally the parents did it, but 100% of the time that has to have a history of sexual or physical abuse.
It could have also been the boy Burke.
It could have also been the boy Burke.
We don't know.
Yeah. Who should have gotten the Kemper treatment of being chained away from his sister because he's too busy fiddling about, talking about how his sister, she's just like, oh, JonBenét, huh? Man, my sister, she'd be a great wife.
Who knows, man? These wealthy families are insane. If we've learned nothing from the Jenks, the Mr. Robert Durst story.
Oh, yes.
He's innocent. Let him go.
Well,
free Robert Durst.
I wish we could cover it, but it's been covered.
So the bungling of the BPD does not end with the crime scene. It continues. John Eller, the man in charge of the case, had never been in charge of a homicide investigation prior to this, and his squad of 6 detectives, young, inexperienced, no experience on homicide cases either, and John Eller also had an extreme distaste for the DA, who was a liberal progressive.
Oh, good. So they all can't work together. Great.
Exactly. So it sounds like they had the mirage of an actual investigation. It's sort of like when you're a college football elite team like Alabama. The first game or one of the first games of the season, they'll just play a total crap school.
Yeah.
And they know they're going to win, but technically they're both playing football, but they set themselves up to win. There was no way this case was going to get solved.
I feel like Orr was a highly ambitious commissioner who was like, I'm going to put together a ragtag team of some of the yeah, they may be rough around the edges, but I think they're going to pull this through. But the problem is that the Bad News Bears doesn't
actually work.
Yeah, I mean, this is why
that technique never works.
You should never make detective decisions while you're watching the Mighty Ducks. Yeah. Because they're not going to turn out to be Danny Tamborelli, and they're going to suck in real life.
No. Listen to me. Yeah, I know he can barely see, and he barely passed criminal justice school, but I'll tell you, when he puts up that triple juke in the final in the final round,
right.
when they're finally, I can't even tell you the term, when the hockey game is all tippity tied up, and he comes in and he shows up, and you'll see. You'll see who will find that rapist.
Why is the detective leading a group of officers into what looks to be a flying V? Why are they coming into our house like that?
So adding to the suspicion against the Ramseys immediately lawyered up. Immediately. And then they hired their own team of private investigators, profilers, forensic analysts, and a PR company. So the harder that the Ramseys tried to push the investigation away from them, the BPD assumed they were more convinced of the Ramseys' guilt.
And this is a situation of wealth not translating to normal society.
Yes.
Why would you get a PR firm? PR firms are usually when you come out with a new fragrance and you want to make sure people love it. I mean, but they and the lawyer up thing, it makes all the sense in the world, but it looks really bizarre to people who don't even have that as an option.
This is a corporate family.
Right.
It works for one of the most intense. It's like basically they have the ear of Lockheed Martin. They have the ear of all these like very like highly.
Or do they have the ear of Lockheed Martin?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, but they're dealing with these clandestine, like high-level military corporations.
Right.
They're getting a lot of advice from them, and they're basically saying like, cover yourself on all sides because literally, again, you look at the previous evidence we have about John Ramsey, you're suspicious as fuck.
and that plays into everything, all of their what seemingly is bizarre behavior for us, for them. I mean, I guess if you're John Ramsey, you've seen death many times, and a lot of death from children if you've worked for Lockheed Martin
You're
and you've seen the
literally
videotapes.
the Grim Reaper.
Seriously, yeah.
So, of course, it's at this point that the tabloids descend. And, man, if you were alive in 1997 and went to a supermarket, JonBenét Ramsey's face was there staring at you in the checkout.
It's just the
so
blonde
creepy.
hair, the pink dress, the big blue eyes. It's perfect picture of a victim.
Yeah.
And this tabloid news cycle was endless every day.
I mean, it was years. And you talk to people who worked for those tabloid newspapers at the time, and the editors would tell them, they would say, like, okay, now we're going to go for JonBenét. We're going to start off with the parents. The parents did it. And then after a little while, they were like, okay, now we're going to go for the son. The son did it. This 10-year-old boy killed his sister out of jealousy.
At one point, Bat Boy did it. I mean, it was insane.
Did Bat Boy die?
I don't know if Bat Boy was ever real.
I don't know. Is imagination real? Is magic real?
No.
Is reality? Are we just not a group of perceptions? Yes.
So it was just a little more than a year since the O.J. Simpson trial ended. And, of course, the tabloids were fresh out of material. JonBenét Ramsey was fucking perfect.
And they were freshly aware of what the death of a beautiful white person would do for their readers.
Mwah, what a spicy meatball for them.
It's crazy because you know for a fact as soon as they found out about this, these heads of the tabloids, the editors, they were happy.
Okay, it's like,
you have to be happy.
Oh, wait a second. Okay, let me look at this. Oh, so she's been raped and murdered? That's awesome.
That's great. That's great.
So the DA, he had, of course, no experience dealing with national media.
Right.
So he tried to deal with the tabloids in the same way that he dealt with the local press, with the Boulder Daily Camera. Did not work. And Bill James makes a great comparison here. He said that it's the difference between dealing with a house cat and a tiger.
Right.
You can't just pet a tiger and hope it calms down.
Yeah, these are professional snoopers that are now crawling fist deep into this case.
They're asking you questions to get their answers that they want to have. I mean, he was in way over his head.
Yeah. And so it was national attention, so both the police department and the DA's office were under an enormous amount of pressure, unimaginable pressure. And because of this, the DA tried to control the narrative, and in order to control the narrative, he had to have control over the police department, who hated him.
Right.
And in fact, at one point, the DA's office brought in their own investigators, and the police, in turn, brought in their own attorneys. So they're not even talking to each other at all.
It's a clusterfuck of
Right.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Like all this litigious red tape all brought in, and it's like, and it comes down to it. A little girl was raped and murdered in deeply cold blood. You know what I mean? A horrible murder. And everybody forgot about her.
But was it all, again, to present the illusion like an investigation was going on?
It's possible.
You know, if they just keep everything messy, keep everything cluttered, they're technically working every day, but they're doing nothing.
They fucked
it's like
up
what
the
I used
crime
to do.
scene.
It's like what I used to do when I worked at Taco Bell. You know what I did? A lot of time in the freezer. A lot of time wiping down areas that were already clean.
Yeah,
look
so-
like I'm working.
so
and then
it's
I
like-
eat all the burritos.
when you work at a temp agency, with a piece of advice I got was walk around with a file folder in your hand and go like do a lot of exasperated sighs.
put your hands up. Just,
Yeah, exactly. And but you bring up a real good point here, is that the tabloid press covered this every single day, and at the end of the day, this was the brutal rape and murder of a 6-year-old child who had her head bashed in, who was strangled.
Oh, absolutely.
And this was talked about, but the murder wasn't talked about at all.
No, and we talked
It was
about
the
this-
investigation. It was the parents.
We've talked about this before. When we do go on like CNN or whatever, one of these networks, and they try to demonize us for discussing these true crime things and making light of them, we're so much more respectful than the mainstream media was. Again, with the O.J. Simpson trial, we cover that in depth. How pizza sales went through the roof. If you're the CEO of Domino's, you're like, oh, we have to get another black athlete to kill his ex-wife and her white boyfriend. We must have it happen.
And I will always put the conspiracy angle on it. It's like the government loves nothing more than a story like this to get real messy.
Yeah.
Because then you can attach. It's like now when the conspiracy theories start getting attached to what we're going to go to, it's so easy to just sort of be like,
you're
oh, look
insane.
at all these crazy people, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, we are literally sitting on what is possibly an extension of a gigantic pedophile ring that is connected to various world governments as a secret-keeping organization that I know for a fact is real.
I guarantee you one of those guys in the audience watching JonBenét dance was Jeffrey Epstein, who was just waiting until she was 10. And then he was going to take her on Air Fuck One, and Bill was going to meet her, and the whole damn thing was going to go down.
Yeah. I mean, if we're learning anything right now from what's going on in the UK,
Yeah.
it's fucking real.
It is real. It is concrete. It's happening all the time. So let's get back to the case as it is.
Yeah. So this is an analysis from Bill James. He really sets it out in common sense terms. This is the case against the Ramseys being the culprits in this case. Patsy, not the brightest bulb in the fucking drawer.
What are you talking about? She's a beauty queen. I thought you have to be a genius to be a beauty queen.
How would you solve world hunger?
I think that burritos are big enough to share.
But look at her tits, though. If you look at her tits, she's really smart.
And it's okay. And so her handwriting, if anyone out of the two wrote the note, it would be Patsy, because the handwriting matches. The literary talent that this woman would have had to have to write this note would have been astounding, especially writing it only moments after bludgeoning her fucking daughter to death, or moments after her husband had bludgeoned her daughter to death.
Well, so, you've ever been in the afterglow of some good sex and you just sit there and you're calm, cool. You could write 1,000 poems.
Yeah. No, the afterglow of good sex is that's my great, that's meditation time for me. It's, it's sex magic.
Yeah, it's like what William Shakespeare did, but she murdered her daughter and then wrote a long note there about forgetting money. It's sort of like it's like a little sonnet, kind of.
Second of all, there were much better places to hide this body.
Right.
I mean, they lived at the foot of... They were in Boulder, Colorado. There are mountains everywhere. There are national parks. There are hundreds of good places to hide this body, especially if they're trying to fake a ransom note.
Yeah, even Robert Durst knew after accidentally murdering that man that lived next door to him,
he shot in the head,
knew
yeah.
that he had to viscerally fucking pull the head off that body in order to hide the identification.
Right,
Even
right.
he knew.
Yes.
Yeah, even he knew, but the Ramseys apparently did not know, so they decided if the accidental sex game gone wrong theory is true, then that means that after Ramsey killed his daughter in a sex game gone wrong, his first thought was like, well, Ransom note.
Ransom
I'll
note.
write a fake ransom note.
You know what's funny, Patsy, is that I always wanted to write a ransom note.
Yeah.
But exactly, if the end result was to rape your daughter and murder her, right? If that's what the part of the satanic ritual was supposed to be, to murder her, I imagine there would also be a plan to deal with the body.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't want to, because this is too heavy. There's too much heat here. If you're going to be doing it in some sort of ritual abuse sort of way, or even in a pedophile ring sort of way. Say this is some sort of weird initiation that he had to do.
Harvey Keitel's going to show up with the cleanup crew and they're going to get rid of it.
Yeah. Third, they left no evidence behind whatsoever that would point to either one of them. The murder weapon was never found, and the only thing that could have been a murder weapon, a baseball bat that was leaned against the house outside, tested negative for any forensic evidence whatsoever. Fourth, the DNA that was found underneath JonBenét's fingernails and on her underwear matched no members of the Ramsey family. But the DNA does come with a caveat. The DNA that they got off the body was known as touch DNA, which is notoriously hard to collect. And it can be contaminated very quickly. And we've got the fucking BPD, who couldn't even secure a crime scene, collecting this DNA.
Also, you had three people handling the corpse right after it was discovered without any sort of no crime science unit there to look at it. Oh, yeah, they were doing whatever. They were probably cleaning her hands, being like, I don't want her to be buried with her hands all messy.
And it's crazy. It doesn't seem like that long ago, but 96, OJ was really one of the first major trials to use DNA, and actually they were skeptical of it.
Yeah.
So people were still kind of, they didn't know exactly what the science was yet.
Yeah, they really had no idea. Now, concerning the scream at 2 a.m. that the neighbor heard, if you'll remember, we mentioned that on the timeline of the first episode.
The world's worst neighbor? Is that what this is?
Oh, yeah, she was just busy. I mean, come on. She was in the middle of a Frasier marathon. Right. You can't be leaving. It should be like, will Niles get Daphne? I won't see it if I leave right now.
I think she was more like, when's Miles going to come out? But then he never did.
He never did.
Nah, man, he loved that pussy.
Yeah, he talked about it just like he did too.
This is a paid ad by BetterHelp. You know, stigma shows up in a lot of different places. I know I had to explain to my handyman about the devil imagery in my home. I had to explain that in our home, El Diablo es bueno. And he reluctantly agreed. I think largely just because he was in my home and he was scared. But over time, he began to see, the devil can be my amigo. See, even in 2026, stigma can get in the way of a lot of things, right? My handyman almost didn't put up my floating media cabinet, right? You gotta get support for your mental health. Maybe you've encouraged friends to consider therapy while avoiding taking the first step yourself because you're busy, worried what others will think, or telling yourself you should handle it alone. No, you need a team. Get therapy with BetterHelp, the world's largest online therapy platform. Give me a space to slow down and talk through what's building before it feels unmanageable. So let's take a short questionnaire to identify your needs and preferences, and BetterHelp will handle the initial therapist matching work for you. Their industry-leading match rate means BetterHelp typically gets it right the first time. Feel confident knowing BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of ethics and are fully qualified. So don't let hesitation hold you back. Find support with BetterHelp. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/lastpod. That's betterhelp.com/lastpod.
All right, I know what you're thinking. I like to go banking, but I don't want to give to these big old banks all the time that cater to the 1%. Well, go ahead and get yourself hooked up with Chime. It's banking built for you, not just those rich jerks. And they got thousands of fee-free ATMs because why pay to get your own money? Chime is working for you, man. You get your Chime card, you're going to get travel perks, you're going to get into airport lounges, you're going to get those chicken thighs. You know, every time I go to an airport lounge, I get chicken thighs. And you know what I say whenever I see a plate of chicken thighs? Give me more. Chime's going to get you those chicken thighs in these lounges, all right? Sure, they could serve other types of meat, but why would you when chicken thighs are so delicious? Chime is not just smarter banking, it's the most rewarding way to bank. Join the millions who are already banking fee-free today. Head to chime.com/left. That's chime.com/left. It only takes a few minutes to sign up. Chime is a fintech, not a bank. Banking services for Chime Card provided by Chime's bank partners. Optional products and services may have fees or charges. Stated cashback for Chime Prime only. No minimum balance required. Checking account ranking based on JD Power Survey published October 20th, 2025. For more information on travel perks, go to chime.com/disclosures.
It's obvious we love true crime, but it does make us feel a little paranoid about what's out there, as it should. And that's why it's so important to get a home security system that gives you peace of mind. With SimpliSafe, you can stop crimes before they even start using their AI-powered cameras to identify threats on your property and alert US-based live agents to take action. Like arriving in a helicopter in the night, coming down from the helicopter, zipping down and breaking through the windows with their big axes, and going through the house, ripping through the walls, finding the criminals. It's easy to do. SimpliSafe has been a game changer for us. And the best part, there's no long-term contract. We've used it since the very early days of SimpliSafe here at LPN, and it keeps us safe, doesn't it? It keeps all of our thoughts inside the building. Then there's the ones we let out because they have to go out because that's a part of it. But SimpliSafe keeps the other thoughts safe. And for that, we say thank you, SimpliSafe. And we want you to experience the same peace of mind as we, which is why we've partnered with SimpliSafe to offer an exclusive discount to all of our listeners. Right now, you can get 50% off your new system by visiting simplysafe.com/LPOTL. That's half off at simplysafe.com/LPOTL. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Well, about the scream, remember that the Ramseys' house was 4 stories high.
Right.
They were in the basement. There were 3 stories between the murder scene and the Ramseys' bedroom. They actually did audio tests that revealed that the Ramseys could not hear the screams.
Like Ace Ventura.
I know, you gotta bring in Ace Ventura.
That's also a problem. Yeah, it's when they buy the house and John Ramsey, did he come down and be like, all right, well, great ass living room, yes, 3 floors. Can you take me down to the basement? Hey, Rodney, can you run up there and I just want to see if it's a good murdering basement.
Did you hear that?
Can't hear it. I'm gonna murder my daughter in here. Can you hear that, Rodney?
Huh?
No, not a word, John Ramsey.
All right.
So the audio test revealed that while the Ramseys couldn't hear the scream, the neighbor could hear the scream just fine because there was a window leading out. There was a metal grate that she could have heard it. The acoustics could have traveled up to where the neighbor was.
Right.
Now, as far as the footprints, they make a big deal of saying that there was snow outside and that there were no footprints in the snow. First of all,
it's total horseshit.
It's such horseshit.
There's a great documentary that I believe Bill James is a part of.
Oh.
That they talk about this thing where basically you show pictures of the outside of the Ramsey home, and they kept saying, "Oh, there's snow. You would have seen it." The whole path is clear. The whole path is clear up to a basement window grate that you can open it. And then they said, "Oh no, only a midget could fit in that grate." That was literally what they said.
Yeah.
But then he's like, "I'm not a midget." He's like, "I'm 6'4". I'll show you exactly how you get in this grate." And he lifts the grate. He gets in. He said, "You can look here. You can see how that it was possibly disturbed when they show the picture of the actual grate because they took a picture of it. He showed how he opened up the basement window and he's like, and it's like bump. He crawled into the home and he was in there in literally 30 seconds.
But then he would have to go up. What floor was JonBenét's room on? Do we know?
4th. It was
on the 4th, so he would have to climb all the way up through the house and then bring her all the way down. And
Well, that's what. Or he was in there. He was there already. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the footprints, total bullshit. Because the other thing is, if they searched the house from top to bottom. Finally, they got a search warrant. But there was no duct tape found. There was no cord found. There was no stun gun. No murder weapon found anywhere in the house. So where the fuck did they go?
Right.
Where did they go? Someone had to have left.
And why hide the murder weapon if you're not going to go ahead and hide the corpse?
Yeah.
Which in the corpse is the bigger amount of. That's the evidence.
Yeah.
That is the evidence. I mean, look at Robert Durst again. Without his wife's corpse, they cannot prove that he murdered her. So because you have no evidence that she's dead, so it's like the first thing you do is get rid of the body.
Yeah.
maybe you couldn't take her through the window with him. He's not Santa Claus. Unless, of course, he is Santa Claus.
We're going to get to Santa Claus later on in the episode.
Just a wink of the eye and a tip of the nose, and right up the chimney he goes.
With your dead daughter.
With your raped dead daughter.
Okay.
So the DA, they actually did do a much better job than the BP did of assigning who should take this case. The DA's office brought in their own investigator, a man who was a veteran of literally hundreds of homicide cases, and within days of arriving,
this guy is a super cop.
This guy is a super fucking cop, and he concluded in just a few days that the Ramseys didn't commit the murder.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh yeah, look at this, absolutely not."
Yeah, he was like, "This is fucking." He's like, "This is easy. Like, this is such an easy fucking job."
And the breakdown is really interesting.
Yeah, the breakdown's great. So while the Ramseys were at the Christmas party on Christmas Day, the intruder broke into the house, bringing with him the duct tape, the cord, the stun gun.
Also, like Santa Claus.
Yes, exactly.
My question is, when you sneak into a house to rape and murder a little girl, do you do the like tiptoe through the house? Like
No, but if you make the noise while you do it, it's counterproductive to the. You want to be quiet. I think you're the world's worst burglar or murderer.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was making the noises out loud. I meant to just think them.
Can you keep it down?
Oh, am I yelling?
You are, sir. Why are you in my house, sir?
I'm gonna rape and murder your daughter. I gotta keep these thoughts to myself. I'm a pizza delivery man. Very thorough.
Thank you.
Brought it straight to the kitchen.
Great.
Well, you make a good point there. Inadvertently, what are you doing in my house? People ask, why did he write the note while he was in the house? Because it's actually very simple. As Bill James said, if he is caught breaking into the house with a note, he goes to jail for kidnapping. If he's caught breaking into the house without the note, he spends a weekend in jail.
Yeah, for robbery.
It's a B&E.
Wants to hang out in their wine cellar and get trashed on their dime. Yeah.
So he hides in the house and
That's a new type of staycation.
Yeah,
It's a break-in and staycation.
They probably wouldn't have noticed for a few days anyway.
So he hides in the house and writes the note while he waits for them to return. He's got, 4 hours. Something like that. He's got at least 3 hours before they get back.
So the theory is he wrote the note before JonBenét was even there.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. He wrote the note waiting for them to get back. He waits until they're asleep. He goes up to JonBenét's room. He uses the stun gun, takes her down to the basement, places the note down on the stairs on the way, and this is corroborated by physical evidence because in JonBenét's hair there was like green tinsel, like green glitter that was from a decoration that was on the stairs. So it's very likely that he laid down the little girl on the stairs with her head resting against the banister while he put the note on the stairs. So he gets down to the basement. He fashions the garrote from the cord that he brought and the paintbrush that he found in the basement, which connects the murder to Patsy Ramsey because it is her paintbrush. And it's very possible he was sexually abusing her. She wakes up from the stun gun. She screams. He panics, and he bashes her in the head, probably, most likely, with the stun gun itself.
Okay.
So he hides her body in the wine cellar, and he leaves the house.
And so the whole intention was never to abduct her. It was never never for a ransom.
But it's also a very bad way to throw attention. It's like he did it wrong as well. Which is because the idea is that he's supposed to buy himself time to get away by basically making them go into a kidnapping investigation, but he left the body right there.
Well, it's also possible that, it's also something you said earlier, that he meant to take the body with him, but he couldn't bring it with him. He couldn't get it out of the basement. And also that leaves a big trail of blood.
Yes.
That'll leave a huge trail of blood.
Yeah, leading to wherever he's going, and then what does he do with it?
Yeah.
But again, that's what we were saying. It sounds like, what he was saying, whoever was behind this whole thing was maybe just trying to destroy the life of John Ramsey.
And honestly, I think that's what it was.
It sounds like just a super stupid criminal who showed up way too early and was just like, I guess I'll make a sandwich and write a note. And then she freaked out. He was probably going to try to take her, kidnap her, and then he just had to murder her.
No, because because that is a garrote killing. It'd be different if she was just found with her head bashed in down in the fucking basement.
Right.
Garrote killing takes a long time and a lot of strength. That's a struggle. Like, basically, he could have killed her also right away. She was knocked out from the stun gun. He put her down.
Yeah.
He was strangling her long enough for her to wake up.
So the garrote, now what do you do with that? You turn it, you twist it behind the
Basically,
person.
you tie it behind a person's neck. You tie it
Gacy
over
used these, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like a pulling thing. You pull on either side of the garrote and like you slowly choke the life out of them.
It's also similar to what they did in the Act of Killing documentary.
Yes.
How they would just mass murder people.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely,
okay.
and that's why the paintbrush was broken. He broke it in half to fashion two handles on the
see.
garrote.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So we know he's Italian. He's an Italian. It seems like a good way for an Italian. It seems like a classic Italian mob killing.
I mean, Godfather 2, they killed the big fat guy
That's
with the
true,
garrote.
yeah. So the first thing you got to do is they should have been looking for mustache hairs
Yes.
and possible traces of marinara sauce.
It was probably Geraldo Rivera who wanted to get a comeback in his career because no one cared about the asylum story anymore.
Yeah. So Bill James, his theory is that the kidnapper was planning on collecting the money, but the money was just icing on the cake. Like that, the money, that $118,000, that he knew he could probably get the money, and it was possible that the money wasn't even something that, if he was directed to do this by superiors, that the superiors didn't even mention whatsoever the exact amount. That it's like, okay, mention $1 million, mention $2 million,
Right.
but he's searching through the house, he finds a pay stub that says $118,000, and he thinks, okay, I can do this, I can get paid twice. I can get paid by my superiors, and I can get paid by this fucking idiot.
And then also, to me, it shows, again, they knew each other. The killer and John Ramsey knew each other. This was a strike against the Ramsey family in order to just ruin all their shit.
Yeah,
And it certainly did.
And in fact, on December 27th, the next day, Patsy Ramsey, completely exhausted, she was being visited by a friend named Pam Griffin, who had made all of JonBenét's pageant costumes. She said that Patsy looked up to her and said, "Couldn't you fix this for me?" And then she remembers Patsy saying, "We didn't mean for this to happen."
Right, but 48 hours, she probably hasn't slept at all. It's amazing this has all happened in a 2-day period. They were just at a Christmas party, and then the next thing you know, you're 2 days deep into an investigation, and you're prime suspects.
I also, to be honest, think that you would be highly ignorant to not think that you sexualizing your child in a child, like, I feel like there is a part of her in that knew I set her up to be a victim. Not really, like, I'm not going to victim, say the thing where, like, oh, because she was a pageant beauty, she was like more of a victim because people saw her on display. But that is a fact, is that she was sexualized in front of a group of people often, publicly, and it's easy for someone who is a deviant to kind of put those feelings on her immediately.
Absolutely. That's the whole point. That's why she won, because the most people did.
Yeah.
I mean, how else do you judge a beauty pageant other than sexually?
Yeah, who
2 dozen
pop a
victories.
bone? Yeah,
It's disgusting.
She had 2 dozen victories by the age of 6. So if she won 24 times, how many did she compete in?
Right. I mean, it's insane.
Or was it all a part of a satanic ritual in order to bring down the World Trade Center?
Well, it possibly was, because let's get into 9/11, friends.
Let's do it.
Now, 9/11 is an amalgam of many theories, and this is the most true, what we're about to cover.
The JonBenét Ramsey connection?
So it has been hypothesized that JonBenét Ramsey was murdered by the former Royal Canadian Air Force Colonel Russell Williams and his team working on behalf of the secret government of the Americas.
Which points towards, they say in their Ramsey note, they're a part of like a foreign faction, and knowledge of his military history, and also going from Mr. Ramsey to John. They're familiar with him.
Can I just say it doesn't seem like something Canadians would do?
Just giving these people a lot of credit.
The Canadians have kind of earned a lot of credit in a lot of ways.
So Patsy Ramsey's father had controls over the U.S. Navy Command Center, which was based in the Pentagon. John Ramsey had access controls because, by the way...
Is this actually true, or is this gobbledygook?
Well, this could be gobbledygook because John Ramsey, Patsy Ramsey's father, helped to found Access Graphics.
Okay.
So Patsy Ramsey's father was involved in Access Graphics and did also work for Lockheed Martin.
So basically what they're saying, that John Ramsey's job possibly meant that he had access or control over the network time protocols management of the servers used for the continuity of government program.
Which the continuity of government program, that is that say 9/11. Say you remember 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
George W. Bush goes to hide in
An undisclosed location.
While Dick Cheney is in...
Oh, no, they're both...
Dick Cheney was president during 9/11.
Dick Cheney was president in 9/11. That's all part of the continuity of government program.
So that's just chain of command stuff, right?
It's chain of command stuff.
They sent an email out.
So...
pretty much.
Pretty much. So, if John Ramsey was in charge of this, then it is possible that John Ramsey was part, or at least saw, the plans for 9/11, the lead up to it. And it's possible that John Ramsey refused to participate.
But it just seems like what a part of his nature says that he was going to rebel against the government's plan to move the face of government to behind the shadows of the shadow government. And so now you can have all these secret players in play running the country and possibly the world's economy.
Double shadow government. But this is 1996.
Well, I mean, do you think 9/11 was planned in a day, my friend?
No,
it took at least 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think it was about 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah. So they say that it's possible because John Ramsey didn't play ball with the enemies of the real America, they framed him for the death of his child.
I mean, I could see it only to the degree that he made the weapons that, galvanized extreme hatred for the United States. Mm-hmm. Definitely to that degree.
Oh, absolutely. And because we were playing on both sides, members of a foreign faction, now it's been revealed that the Saudi government had heavily a part of 9/11. They could have been Saudis.
Maybe he found out about that. I mean, they were all Saudis on 9/11. Now, this one's fun, yeah.
Yeah, this one's really fun. And it continues on into the FBI. We mentioned earlier on the last episode that the FBI came, set up a wiretap, and left.
Almost like they were just trying to record John Ramsey himself.
Almost. In the case of Adobe Graphics, 3 years before, there was an executive kidnapped, and hundreds of FBI agents just poured into the location.
Right.
In Michigan, another industrial kidnapping took place where a wife was suspected. A family member was suspected in this. Hundreds of FBI agents came. It was just flooded. So when shit like this happens, FBI agents come running, especially when Lockheed Martin is fucking concerned.
It's just straight up, if this is true, if it's true that he was a part of the continuity of government program, do you not think he deserved a little bit more protection? It's like a little bit more like, it's insane. It's this is where conspiracy gets pretty interesting to me, where it's like, it's true. They did not give him they didn't give him the coverage.
Did he want the coverage? Who knows? I mean, again, speaking of, like we talk about all the time, but JonBenét, people would go crazy to find out who killed her.
Yeah.
You would think, theoretically.
Oh, the vice president of Lockheed Martin. This statement alone is very interesting. He's like, I had a 6-year-old son, and we have a security protocol, and that letter threatened other executives. Where was the security? Where was the bodyguards? Where was the protocol? Where was the alert, the drill, the routine, the regiment that we so carefully shared and worked on at Lockheed Martin? Not a word, not a sound, not a telephone call.
Anyway, I got to go put this wig on my son. He's got a competition to perform in, and today's going to be Suzanne.
I'm not going to say that it's a tragedy that JonBenét is gone, but I got to say, I'm sick of my son being number 2 as a fake lady child beauty pageant winner.
Marcus, I didn't see it. Is that a possibility? What? A contestant so hung up on the fact JonBenét has 24 trophies, wants nothing to do but murder JonBenét
She
so
has
her
everything.
child can
My
win.
Bernadette has nothing.
My God, the curtain has been lifted.
Where was Honey Boo Boo's mom?
Where was June on this fateful day?
She was probably at the fucking Piggly Wiggly snarfing down hot dogs.
Oh, absolutely. You don't get that big from not.
Well, the 9/11 connection, admittedly, it's ridiculous. That does kind of take away from this, but it does kind of take away from the fact that this is weird. Like the Lockheed Martin, even if it had nothing to do with 9/11 itself, the whole circumstances surrounding it, that there was nothing put into place for other Lockheed Martin executives. There was the FBI didn't follow up on the foreign faction angle.
It's pretty fucking fishy.
Because, I mean, really, foreign faction, terrorism. You mentioned terrorism.
Right.
And you know what terrorism equals? Cash. That includes funding.
Right.
If you are the Boulder branch of the FBI and you have a terroristic threat, then you got a fucking payday coming.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
because all the feds are going to come in. You're going to get all new Hummers, and you're going to get
Right,
rocket
right.
launchers. You're going to get all the shit you always wanted to have as a local cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is a further statement from the Vice President of Lockheed Martin. He said that he began to call executives and lawyers and others saying, like, why wasn't my family alerted? What happened? And they said to him, well, there was no threat. And he said, how do you know that? And they said, well, I don't know. We just know.
Right.
Which is government talk for we know exactly what's going on, and we're not telling you.
I mean, it's so tough to tell if were they just that stupid. Is it like the BTK case where they were the hot dog squad running around like a bunch of douchebags?
I think there's a part of it that there is that where they just kind of thought it's like, oh, this is a rich guy. He'll give money to these people and he'll get the daughter back. Blah, blah, blah. We've seen this 100 times on fucking Matlock. And it's just like, but no.
That only holds water until 10 a.m. the day of the murder.
I mean, now they have the body. They still,
It is very
bizarre.
fishy. His involvement with Lockheed Martin is something that it cannot be ignored. We're watching pedophile rings all over the world organized like they're basically it's a secret keeping organization. It
Right.
fits in line with their MO as it is.
I mean,
they do this to threaten and to control.
These people are rolling around like the Penguin in Batman Begins, just on a trolley playing a song. Not Batman Begins, whatever. Batman Returns, and they're playing a trolley and trying to get all the kids out in the train and sell them into sex slavery. And JonBenét, God knows she's worth more than $118,000 on the human sex trade market.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's
a billionaire.
She's a luxury item.
It's disgusting, but yes.
I'm only talking as they do.
Yeah.
Sure.
So actually concerning that, it's said that many of the girls in child beauty pageants are victims of MK Ultra.
But that is absolutely true. I mean, honestly, if you would talk about because basically the idea with MK Ultra was to shatter a person's personality and make one of them a possible prostitute spy, and
Right.
who better than a fucking child beauty pageant queen?
It's perfect.
Well, you see the connections to shady government factions of Patsy Ramsey's father. Both Patsy and her sister could have been CIA sex slaves. They could have been programmed by MK Ultra. Both of them were crowned Miss West Virginia in 1977 and 1980, respectively. In 1977, Miss America judge Frank DeFord wrote in his notes that Patsy was, quote, a little automaton on automatic pilot.
Which is a good score in a child beauty pageant adjudication. That's what they want.
Apparently, they should have MK Ultra'd a little bit of information on cooking and cleaning as well. But, whatever.
Call me a squirrel, because I'm covered in acorns. That's right. So many people are focused on where their money is today. And Acorns is the financial wellness app that cares about where your money is going tomorrow. Let Acorns work for you. You put acorns in the ground and you're gonna get trees tomorrow. That's right, investments. And with the Acorns potential screen, you could find out what your money is capable of. I always do that. I'm like, I want to invest in something that I like. Let's say cheeseburgers. Okay? That's kind of hard to do. Acorns will help you find a cheeseburger that is right for you. So sign up now, and Acorns will boost your new account with a $5 bonus investment. Wow! Join the over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $27 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/left or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Tier 2 compensation provided. Potential subject to various factors such as customer
customers' accounts, age, and investment settings. Does not include Acorn's fees. Results do not predict or represent the performance of any Acorn's portfolio. Investment results will vary. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/left.
You know, I rip around in the bed. You might actually not be surprised by this, but I'm a restless sleeper. I roll back and forth like an alligator with a wounded deer. But something's changed in my house, and it's thanks to Boll and Branch. You know, people keep their bedding way longer than they should. It's because people are afraid of change. Not me. I burn my sheets once a week, but I don't need to. Because Boll and Branch's signature organic cotton sheets, pillows, blankets, and comforters are all designed to be breathable, incredibly soft. They get better over time. Start with the signature sheets. You're going to buy 2 sets so you can rotate them. Come on, you're going to want to. The moment you get into bed, you'll notice a difference. I know I did. I just got fresh from the bath. I was fully lotioned. And sliding into those sheets kind of felt like, to be honest, I felt like the luckiest pasta filling in the whole world. All right, they're really good. You will like them. You will feel like a brand new laid chicken, which is we're all going for. Just trying to be a hot chick again. Sleep cooler this summer with Boll and Branch during their annual summer event. For a limited time, get 20% off site-wide at bollandbranch.com/left with code LEFT. That's Boll and Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/left. Code LEFT to take 20% off. bollandbranch.com/left. Code LEFT. Exclusions apply.
It's summertime, baby. And you know what that means. You're going to go to Quince and you're going to get yourself some new clothes. Something happened to me by accident recently. I had a nice little Quince mistake. It was Father's Day and we wanted to get Julie's dad something nice, so naturally we went to Quince. We looked around and we were like, oh, look at this 100% organic cotton mesh stitch button-up sweater polo. I think Bob's really going to like this. So we get it and we buy it. And then you know what happened? A little fudge, a little mistake. Accidentally sent it to our house instead of Bob's house. Julie's like, oh, I'll just get a refund from Quince and we'll mail Bob another one. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds nice. But, you know, maybe I should just see it first. She pulls it out. I was like, whoa, look at that. It's like a button-down polo with nice little holes in it. It's breathable. It's not bad. You know, I think I'm going to wear this to Jazz Fest this weekend. Wore it to Jazz Fest. Got 3 comments. One was by a lady. Not bad, Quince. So get your hiney over to quince.com and treat yourself good and feel good. Look good this summer. Make your summer wardrobe easier. Go to quince.com/last for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. It gets hot up there. That's QUINCE.com/last for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/last. Look like a prince in your Quince, you jerks.
Same was said of later of Pam's performance and JonBenét, and this is not a conspiracy thing. This was actually said by the people who photographed her and worked with her. It was said that she could freeze all motion and hold a pose for ungodly amounts of time. She was 6. Have any of you ever tried to get a 6-year-old to sit still for 5 fucking minutes?
What, man? It is.
I never ask a 6-year-old to sit still.
MK Ultra is very real, but it's different now. It plays out. I was talking with my mother about a family member. They have a 5-year-old. You know what medication he's on? ADHD medication.
God.
He's 5 years old.
Fuck.
And so it plays into a larger thing. If she had to be on drugs. Yeah, no, there is no way a 6-year-old can just do something like that. An adult can't do it.
Hey, do you want to be a winner? You take the things that make you a fucking winner, Ben.
Absolutely.
Hey, look at fucking, what's his name? The Yankee guy with the big getting juiced.
Alex Rodriguez.
You know, he's getting juiced.
That's
you gotta
right.
You gotta play with the big boys.
That's true.
It actually is commonplace in the MK Ultra program for there to be mother-daughter mind control teams.
Yes, because Kathy O'Brien, famed MK Ultra victim, and her daughter are a part of it, or technically Project Monarch, right? They were a part of a mother-daughter sex slave team, and a part of what that does to
them is that it keeps everybody in. Again, that's what it is. It's about like making sure everybody's a part of the deal.
Yeah, and it said that Patsy Ramsey exhibited symptoms of multiple personality switching during media interviews on more than one occasion. That's another thing, the alter and the real. Like, that's another MK Ultra thing.
Yes. When you look at this, basically what they believe is, if you watch this, if you go through Kathy O'Brien's book called, I believe it was called The Transformation of America.
America with a K.
Yes. She writes this book about her experiences, and one thing she said was that they received this sort of training, this video training, where you can do microcontrols to the muscles in your face. So literally you look different in each different personality you slide into. So she said a problem with an MK Ultra victim a lot of times is they will look in the mirror and not recognize themselves because literally like their eyebrows will be tighter.
So if Patsy Ramsey is an MK Ultra mind slave, it is possible that her front alter has no knowledge of the crimes while her back alter was the one who actually perpetrated it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is more of a solitude reading in the front, murderer in the back. Kind of a mullet,
like a mullet
thing for your brain.
Yeah.
Huh. Who knew? Okay, interesting.
So our next theory, satanic ritual abuse.
I mean, of course, though.
Yeah.
Of course. So on February 27th of 2000, one researcher explained to a CBS 2 news reporter
what we believe was happening in Patsy's mind was that her daughter was losing control, becoming a wild rebel. She felt her daughter was becoming evil.
Man!
Unbelievable. I can't believe your daughter was rebelling against the sex business that you sold her into.
Yeah. Why would one ask, why would a lovely 6-year-old child be deemed of becoming evil? Was it because of the ritual sexual abuse being penetrated upon her? Was it because of the child porn ring being run out of Denver, in which child quote-unquote models were being used for sexual favors, and of which JonBenét was one of these quote-unquote models?
And Denver was also a hub of the Tavistock Group, also known as the Corporation of 300, a gigantic a conglomeration of British deviants.
Interesting.
That control the economy of the entire world?
Yeah.
Or is that also false?
The sun never set on the British Empire, sir.
Yeah, and they got the Denver Nuggets too, a basketball team, and the Denver Broncos.
You don't even want to know the theory concerning the Denver Broncos and JonBenét Ramsey.
I do.
John Elway did it. I knew it from his perfect smile.
That's why he was able to win those 2 Super Bowls. Too old to actually should have been able to do it. He should not have been able to.
It was all a part of a gigantic ritual. There are a lot of 7s, 13s, and 3s that show up in that Super Bowl. A lot of different numbers. And by the way, they won that Super Bowl 13 months after JonBenét Ramsey was killed.
Absolutely solid evidence.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you guys, of course, know about my New England Patriots theory in 2000 and 2002. But that's a different. That's a different episode. That's coming up in September.
Good.
So, John Ramsey's daughter.
What's the episode going to be about? I have no idea.
So John Ramsey's daughter from her first marriage, Elizabeth, we mentioned on the last episode that she was killed in a car accident. It's said that she had uncovered several vivid memories of satanic ritual abuse after a failed suicide attempt during the ensuing therapy sessions, in which her father apparently played a major role in the ritual.
It's just weird that we don't have that written down anywhere. You know what I mean? That's what's weird, is we don't have any of that evidence just on a piece of paper.
No, we don't have it written down. We don't need to have it written down. That comes from friends and family members. Sources.
So we do know that somebody said it out loud. Even if it was just us right now, it makes it real.
Yes.
So that's good.
Yeah. She was killed in a quote-unquote freak car accident. Her boyfriend also died.
It's like a clown car hit her. A bunch of big-headed weirdos and
this
large
is a message
monsters.
to all the boyfriends out there. Be careful.
Be careful.
So JonBenét, she had started complaining to her mother concerning her quote-unquote private place about 2 months before her death. Beginning about 2 weeks before her murder, JonBenét started to talk about scary people in long black robes who gathered around her and stuck quote-unquote things into her private place.
Yeah, they're all the goddamn people designing the dress. They're a bunch of 50-year-old housewives who had nothing better to do.
Absolutely, just sticking her with needles, going in like, these sequins would look so much better if we could just sew them into your skin.
You are the dress now, JonBenét.
Yeah, JonBenét also spoke vaguely of darkness around her and the possible use of candles.
And everybody knows candles are a Satanist's lamp.
Now let's get into the government connections to the satanic ritual abuse. John Ramsey ran a company called Access Graphics with offices in the Philippines, Amsterdam, Holland, and Denver, Colorado. Access Graphics did business with the William Morris Agency and had service contracts directly with what is commonly known as Iran-Contra. Access Graphics' major bank accounts were parked at the noted Iran-Contra money laundering service Silverado Savings and Loan and administered by none other than Director of Silverado, Neil Bush, George W. Bush's brother. Ramsey was also on a list of witnesses never subpoenaed by former Iran-Contra prosecutor Lawrence Walsh. It can now be reported that Ramsey had either knowingly or unknowingly pimped his daughter out as a prostitute to the William Morris Agency, who were taking these child quote-unquote models and using them to provide sexual services for pedophiles in government, industry, and so on, in addition to their quote-unquote modeling shows.
Where are the subpoenas?
You know, I would agree with everything you said, but Oliver North didn't cover it on his show War Stories, so I don't know.
And an alleged claim in the tabloid Star.
Which is also a perfect place to dump a story.
Exactly. Tabloids are the perfect places to dump the story because it immediately erases any and all credibility.
Oh, yeah. It's like telling a schizophrenic all your personal life details, knowing that no one's going to believe it when they scream the truth.
Well, apparently a large amount of kiddie porn had been downloaded in the 90s on Access Graphics computers.
Right.
The article also noted that Access Graphics did a lot of work in Amsterdam's red light district, which is known as a hub of child prostitute trafficking.
Absolutely. And that is totally true.
That is real.
Yeah.
That is real.
That is
Human
very
sex
real.
trade goes right through Amsterdam.
Yeah, exactly. But it is also, it must be noted that neither Lockheed Martin nor John Ramsey ever brought up any sort of lawsuits against Star Magazine for these extremely ridiculous, or not ridiculous, I would say extremely damning claims.
But I would say they do that because they don't want to bring attention to the claims at all, so they just are going like, oh, we'll just let them say whatever they want. We won't respond.
Or you want them to be making these, insane claims because, again, like we've been talking about, it muddles the argument.
Yep. Yes, it does. JonBenét, let's get into a little bit of magic here. That's magic with a K. JonBenét was murdered on Christmas only a few days after the winter solstice. And Joseph Mengele created a sacrificial ritual for Christmas Day called the last bulb of the Christmas tree.
God, he was good at names.
The last bulb of the Christmas tree?
And Mengele's pseudonym, Greenbaum.
I'm usually the last bulb at the Christmas buffet. Hey,
you're a lot like Joseph Mengele.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Henry.
So Mengele's pseudonym Greenbaum means green tree and relates to the Kabbalistic tree of life. And perhaps it is just a coincidence that the lone Ramsey press conference was on May 1st.
My birthday!
Which...
You don't want to associate your birthday with all things terrible like Mengele and JonBenét Ramsey.
But May 1st is also Beltane.
And what's Beltane?
Henry?
Beltane. Oh, it's the biggest holiday in the satanic world. It's like well, that's more of a pagan holiday. It's everybody takes each other's clothes off and fucks in a field.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's great. It's real nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great tradition.
Yeah, if everything is consensual.
Yeah, naturally, and everyone's of age and not there because they're a sex slave.
And although I could not corroborate this, it was said that the term for the devil in certain Illuminati circles is John Bet.
Well, that's a reach.
Interesting.
I think of all the things, that's the reach.
It's a reach.
Out of all the things, that's the reach?
I do feel, this is my question. If we want to know the ritual work, let's go fucking, has anyone gone to Egypt to see if these pyramids got turned on?
It's a good
That's
question.
what I'm saying.
Good question. But obviously with the satanic ritual and all that, they didn't JonBenét wasn't actually used in this situation, in this instance. I mean, there was no markings of a sexual ritual abuse situation here.
I mean,
double secret.
Double secret.
Shadow on shadow. You know what I'm saying? Hide in plain sight.
Sure.
2 if by sea.
One if by
one in the hand. All of it rolls together. When in Rome, JonBenét Ramsey.
I see now.
See what I'm saying?
I do.
May 1st, Christmas Day, November 11th. That is 2 months after what day? September 11th. And then also 2001, 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 equals 3.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Holy Ghost. The other one. 3
Some
in
virgin,
a 1.
I think.
3 in 1. You got it? 2 for the price of 1.
Right.
JonBenét Ramsey.
Interesting. Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world.
So we got one final theory. Santa Claus.
Of course he fucking did it.
Santa Claus did it. So Trip DeMuth, one of the original prosecutors on the case.
Bad name.
Yeah. If you
Trip
DeMuth.
But Trip that's another one of those white, wealthy, ironically trashy names.
Yeah.
It's a guy who mixes cocktails with his finger and then sucks on his finger.
Yeah. It tastes good. Yeah.
So if you'll remember in our first episode, we mentioned at the Christmas party at the Ramsey's house on, I believe it was the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was on, it was not.
Okay.
On the 23rd, that Christmas party, Santa Claus was played by the former journalist Bill McReynolds.
Yes.
And on that day, he supposedly gave JonBenét a card that read, "You will receive a special gift after Christmas."
I'm going to rape and murder you, little girl.
Very interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry, he wanted a dollhouse. Let me change that on the list.
Yes, and then write about it. Now, did this journalist that played the Santa Claus, what is it? I just want to call him McRib, but it's McReynolds, right? Did he write about the case extensively, or did he kind of wash his hands up and back away from it?
Well, he had already retired as a journalist.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and his daughter had already been abducted 22 years before, and his wife wrote a play about a child who was molested in her basement and then murdered.
Yeah, and by the way, it was 22 years to the day before JonBenét's death.
And of course, his daughter died at the age of 22, so those are another numbers that are the same.
2 plus 2 equals 4. 4 sides to a square.
Right.
Square on the altar of the Masons' square compass. Oh, you were in an apron.
Okay. That's okay. Come back you'll come back to us tomorrow.
Prescott Bush.
Prescott Bush did it. Yes.
Oh, and one more, by the way, Bill Reynolds died in 2002.
And did he comment at all on the case, or
He was cleared. The couple gave hair, handwriting, and blood samples. They were eventually cleared thanks to DNA tests, but if we remember, the DNA is it's a little iffy.
Right.
Shadow on shadow.
And about SBTC, the signature at the end of the ransom note could be interpreted as south on Broadway towards Cashman.
Just use MapQuest. We had MapQuest in 1996.
Internet poster Don Bradley wrote, "To get from the McReynolds' former residence in Boulder to the Ramsey home, you would be advised to go south on Broadway towards Cashman." So let's jump ahead to 1999. Court documents were released. I believe this was just last year that these court documents were released. It was revealed that in 1999, a grand jury voted to indict JonBenét Ramsey of not murder, but of child abuse resulting in the death and being an accessory to a crime in connection with JonBenét Ramsey. So what this indictment said, and by the way, the prosecutor declined to sign the indictment but due to lack of evidence, but what this means is that a grand jury saw enough evidence to say that they were at least a part of it. They were at least a part of it. That they didn't kill her, but they were at least a part of it. The grand jury's indictment papers didn't indicate who killed the beauty queen. The Ramseys weren't officially indicted, Let's see here. But in 2008, then Boulder District Attorney Mary Lacey exonerated the girl's parents and immediate family after DNA pointed to an unidentified male. As far as the indictment itself goes, count 4 of the indictment said the Ramseys, quote, did unlawfully, knowingly, recklessly, and feloniously permit a child to be unreasonably placed in a situation which posed a threat of injury to the child's life or health, which resulted in the death of JonBenét Ramsey, a child under the age of 16.
So in layman terms, count 4 is pimping your daughter out at shows where she's wearing scantily clad clothes.
Or possibly putting her up at parties that this is where this is what they do. That they basically are naming, if it's true, this sort of government parties, the after parties that we talked about with the Franklin cover-up, and that she was a part of that, and maybe the entire beauty queen establishment's a part of that.
On a show.
And if we remember in the Franklin cover-up, and I'm sure everybody's been hearing a lot about indictments lately, and it is not hard to get an indictment in this country, but if we remember from the Franklin cover-up, the witness to all of these horrible sex parties, she not only didn't get the indictment against Larry King, she was also charged with perjury, with perjury, and she was sent to prison for 9 years. And this jury, they voted to indict, but the DA just didn't do it. Just didn't sign anything into evidence. And what's even more damning is that the evidence that was presented to the grand jury has never been released, and there are multiple redacted items in the search warrant.
We're going to see shit come out in the next couple of years, probably.
And
as they all start to die off,
in a 2001 interview with grand jury specialist Michael Caine, who led the 13-month grand jury probe, he said there remain dozens of secrets, absolutely dozens, and a lot of what the public thinks is a fact is simply not fact.
So this is just one of those stories. This is one of those things where it's again, what we said the first episode is that when you can't find the killer of something of such a massive case and such a widely publicized case,
then you invade Iraq and you invade Afghanistan. That's what happens.
That's my personal belief is that the pedophile ring is real. I think that it's all real.
I think there's evidence to prove that. Yeah.
I mean, my personal belief is that they didn't kill her, but they know who did.
They know who did.
They know who did, and they know why.
Yeah. But really, the biggest loser here is John, because his political career got derailed. Turns out when your daughter dies in a mysterious death and your other child
two daughters die in mysterious circumstances.
He ran for Michigan Congress in 2004 and 2008, and it's tough to work yourself out of the pit of that guy might have killed his daughter.
You have to start every speech and be like, "Hey, hello, my name is John Ramsey. I did not kill my daughter.
That is the man who I was. I want to talk about the man that I am today.
A man who wants to fix our highways. And there's got to be a green light on the corner of Muldrew and Jefferson."
Perfect.
So that is the story of JonBenét Ramsey. I don't believe this case will ever be solved. It's going to go down as one of the great unsolved murders in American history.
It makes me feel sick to my stomach.
Yes,
it's so sad, and the poor girl, and don't have I don't know. Maybe we should pass legislation banning these child events. It's just disgusting.
They're outlawed. I know they're outlawed in France.
If the French don't allow it, what are we doing?
Yes. No. We're basically, absolutely. Why are we sexualizing our kids?
Stop it. It is. It's an epidemic. It really. I mean, I hate to say it, but even you watch those MTV, like the new musicians that are out now, like they look like children. They're wearing nothing. I sound like a total father or something, but it's more than it ever was before.
The little girlification of like sexuality of like
so
having,
gross.
I think it's disgusting.
The shaved pussies. Grow some bush, ladies.
Yeah.
But let's not go crazy.
A little bit of bush.
Always.
You don't.
As a matter of fact,
I
you know what? Keep it shaved, but tattoo your driver's license on it. And that way we all know, I know what I'm looking at. It's perfect.
I got a bush. Just so no one thinks I'm a little boy.
I don't think they're going to think you're a little boy. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening, supporting the show. Thank you for all the amazing things that you send us and all of your wonderful comments on Facebook and
guys.
emails.
Hey, man. Don't kill a little girl this week, huh?
No.
Do not do that.
Don't not or any week.
Any
You know
week.
what? Instead of killing a little girl, find us on Twitter.
Yeah,
That's what I always say, at LP on the left. And that's Marcus Parks on Twitter. I'm Ben Kissel on Twitter. That is Henry Loves You.
And if you really want to help us out, go to iTunes, rate and review the podcast. Go to cavecomedyradio.com/Last Podcast on the Left to get your very own Last Podcast on the Left t-shirt.
Yep.
And Halgeen, I believe.
I'm going to give a hail yourselves. Thanks for supporting all the shows that Marcus and I do as well, and everything that we are up to.
Hail, hail Satan, oh sweet majesty of Satan, thank you for your gifts. And also hail me, because...
Didn't Satan kill JonBenét Ramsey in a ritual?
No, he never would have proved of this.
Oh, I see.
That was probably Azazoth or Beelzebub.
Yeah,
okay.
the naughty ones.
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to cavecomedyradio.com.
You've tried melatonin, the white noise machine, the blackout curtains, the magnesium, and you're sleeping fine. Not great, just fine. At some point, you have to consider the 4-year-old pillow is doing more damage than the magnesium is fixing. Coop Sleep Goods is running a bundle sale July 9th through the 20th. The starter bundle is the move. 2 pillows plus a sheet set, 40% off. And we're not saying it'll fix everything. We're just saying you've tried everything else. Coop's pillows are adjustable, designed to fit how you sleep, not just tolerate it. Mix and match any 2 pillows at 25% off or go all in on the starter bundle. One real upgrade beats 6 mediocre ones. Head to coopsleepgoods.com/comedy. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/comedy for 40% off the starter bundle and 25% off all other bundles. Feeling stuck with rising ad costs and flat results? Realize Taboola's advertising platform for businesses unlocks growth beyond search and social. Taboola's algorithm engages with high-intent users on the open web, accelerating their path to conversion. Powered by an AI model trained on over 500 billion monthly signals, Realize delivers smarter prospecting with privacy-safe targeting. The result? Higher conversion rates and scalable funnel at lower cost. To learn more, visit realize.com/podcast.